What's up, everybody? David Feldman-Makrias here, and I wanted to make this video because I got the video idea while I was creating another video. This is videoception. So, my favorite way to create content, okay? I think it's really great because it's super efficient. It elevates my, brain activity in a sense. It elevates my creativity. It allows me to be submersed in my niche more so. And the more that you do this, the better and better you will become, the faster you will become, and the more efficient you will become at creating high quality, valuable content that your audience, whoever that is, will grow to, will what? Come to know and love. Okay, so my favorite way to create content, high quality content, is actually by creating content. Yeah, what does that actually mean? Well, there's a couple different things, so let me break it down. And again, let me state my favorite way to create high quality content is by creating high quality content. The way that I brainstorm the best, there's a couple different things that needs to be aligned. And the thing that works for me the best is actually during the process of creating content. I don't necessarily use a script. I don't necessarily have bullet points to talk about. Sometimes very, very few bullet points to talk about. I've done this so much where it just kind of flows naturally. And the more you do it, the more you'll be successful at it. So, what my favorite way to create content is brainstorming, creating content while I'm creating content. You know, I get my best ideas oftentimes when I'm recording a video, and I'll have to hit, my little loom pause right here and stop the video and write down that idea. And that's part of the reason I have this board open, because I always have this open at all periods of the day and time. And this is my DFM, David Feldman-Makrias video board. These are all the different content topics. Some I need to schedule, some are for specific audiences, some the ideation is done, some the thumbnails are actually complete. There's a bunch of different items on here, but this is my big list, right? And I've had to massage and sort and filter this list over time, and you will too. I'm not really talking about how to organize your list. I think you'll get that. It's really just about one of the best ways to create content is just by creating. And if you have that little interspersed idea that happens, feel free to pause the video, whatever you're creating, and then write it down. So that's one of my favorite ways to create. Let me give you some tips too that really help me in this creative process. I typically create content. When I say content, at least for me, it's pillar content via long form video. I have help that cuts it up into short form video, into social media posts, into different things like that. I want to spend most of my time focused on creating the content and brainstorming the best way I know how, and being able to effectively communicate that to my audience, which is you guys, via video. So that's really what this is about. It's not just me here behind the scenes. There's a lot of others involved, and couldn't do it without their help. So, and of course, couldn't do it without you guys because you guys are watching. So, it's a collaboration. So one thing is I do what I do. I make the time for what I do best. So that's tip number one. So if you're writing and you feel like writing is your calling, writing, typing, whatever, then you need to spend most of your time doing that. If you think speaking and enunciating and conveying topics is something that is normal, not normal for you, but something that, time doesn't stand still, it flies by, then you need to use that medium. You need to find your medium, right? Writing, video, what have you. I've tried writing. I don't like it. I've tried social media posts. I typically don't like it. I like recording, and I like being able to speak because things just flow more naturally for me when I can speak. But again, to each their own. You might have a different style. So you need to A, identify the style that works for you. B, it helps when you make a routine out of it. And again, minimum action goals. So I told myself this morning, okay, I need to do at least an hour of content creation. And that's one of my goals every day. So with that being said, I've actually blown past that goal, but just getting into the rhythm of it. So like the first 10, 20 minutes was like admin work. The admin work, I don't just start recording right off the bat because my brain's not warm, right? It's not warmed up. I'll start doing the little bitty warm up admin work. Like, okay, let me just respond to a couple of comments from my designer. Let me look at the topics. Did I have a short creation list? All right, let me organize that. So I'm getting my mind in the flow. You're literally like warming yourself up, right? So that way I'm completely warmed up before I create content. Plus, another thing I do is before, so let's say all that's done. Another thing I'll do is actually have a blank. No, I'll actually use an app on my phone that warms up my voice. It takes about a few minutes, and that's just good practice to get my muscles in my face moving. That's for me, right? If you're video recording, I highly recommend you have some sort of habitual routine to get you in the flow. It helps a lot. So now by that time, I'm 20, 30 minutes in. I completed all my admin work, all the easy stuff. So I feel accomplished. Plus my voice is warmed up. So again, I'm stacking those habits. So whatever it is for you, if you're writing and you need to create, then writing, drawing, whatever, then you need to, figure out a space and figure out a time and then figure out a little mini habit stack to get yourself to that brain activity that is going to give the best high quality content possible. So let me talk a little bit about the space and time. For me, what works best to create content is in the mornings. It's usually from that 8 o'clock to 11:30 noon window. That's where my brain just is the best. Now that might be different for you. You might be better recording at night. You might be, better writing. You might, whatever it is, but pick the time and block out that time. There's always going to be other stuff. Don't worry about the emails. Don't worry about everything else. You need to block it out. And then you'll get to that when you can. That's just 7 habits of highly effective people, blocking out your time first, because content creation, at least for me, is one of the most high productive activities possible. So I need to put that first. And I highly recommend that you guys do too. So that's the time. The space, I recommend to have a space that you can consistently go back to. So my space right now, you might have noticed this microphone here. This microphone doesn't move a whole lot. I mean, here, I will show you. It's a boom. It's on a swivel, and it's easy. Let me set it up right here. It's easy to just launch on my desk. I can come right in. The time is efficient, and I can basically just start recording right away. So that is, it makes it easy. I typically record content at the same place. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I'll just grab a laptop and record something if I'm feeling it or I'm behind on creating content as far as schedule. But I do like it. I have a setup. You have a setup. I have my desk. I have the mic here. I have a light behind me. I have my 2 screens, and then I have my blurring. I have my software to record. I use Loom because it just makes sense for me. And my style, you might have something else. But the more that you do this, the more you'll get into the rhythm. So I highly recommend to go back, have the space to be able to do it, and utilize that space for creating content primarily. That way, when you sit at that chair, even no matter what's going on in life, no matter what other things you have to do, whatever it is, you habitualize your brain to go, oh yeah, this is the spot where I record, or this is the spot where I draw, or this is the spot where I write, whatever that may be. I don't like a lot of frills and thrills and distractions. I just want a computer, a mic, a decent chair, and then, some private space. So that's that. So we talked about time, we talked about space, we talked about habits, we talked about a little bit about how I keep track of ideas. My other favorite way to create content is, well, define creation, right? Like when I think of creating, I think of actually sitting down to record a video, but there are so many other things that go into the creation. There's the brainstorming process, there's the setup process, there's everything. Let's say brainstorming. What's my favorite way to brainstorm? I oftentimes I'm in the car, and I'm talking to. The cool thing is I'm immersed in my niche. So I talk about this niche all the time. So in conversations with my team, I'll just get great ideas and I go, oh wait, hang on. And I just gotta write that, write that down, make sure I don't crash, all that good stuff. Or if they're stationary, I'll be like, hey, send me an email with this topic idea, so then, we can create more content. But that's another way, finding where your brain is more active in your niche. And that's why it really helps that, my day-to-day activities is my niche. I'm immersed in it. And then that's why people say just become immersed in your niche, because then your brain just starts connecting all the dots. So, but those are the different hacks for me. I'd say the biggest impact is having, the space, the time, hacking it where I'm using my best activities, my best time in the day to do the best activities and have the most effective results. Um, you know, I don't at this point have a consistent day of when I record. I think that would be good to have, but I do at least record twice a week and I do as much content, high quality, that I possibly can. And in between that, I work on it every day, but I don't necessarily record every day, but I will brainstorm every day. So it's, twice a week recording. I can typically get 2 to 3 videos done. I need to pump those numbers up. But that is an overview of my favorite ways to create content. I hope this helps. It's a little sporadic all over the board, but maybe it'll give you some ideas to create content for you and, podcast, videos, drawings, images, photography, whatever your content niche is, you should record something. You should document it somehow, some way. Find the way that works for you. And once you do that, then and do it habitually, then you're gonna get pretty good. And do it consistently. Do goals that you can do. If you can only do 30 minutes every day, that's okay. Do that. Less than 30 minutes a day, though, 5 days a week, I don't think you're going to get a lot from. You need to, if you're going to create, you need to have that at least. Break down the steps. Those are my favorite ways to create content. And it's not just about content. It's about high quality content. There's so much content out there, especially with AI now. It's just, there's so much resources out there because everyone's like, create content, create the content. No, create high quality content. And then over time, with consistency and a 1% improvement on it each day, you will get better and better. Okay, thank you so much, guys. David Feldman-Makrias here, and I will see you in the next content piece or video. Take care.